各位朋友，大家晚安，大家好，欢迎大家今天来参加我们2022 European Study Talk 留学英国说明会。那这个活动是由我们欧洲在台官方单位联合举办，我们即将从2022年的9月一直进行到2023年的2月。整个系列活动将邀请到超过50多所的欧洲知名高等教育学院。那要进行的是留学线上说明会有德国、英国、法国、比利时、荷兰、瑞士、瑞典以及意大利等专业顶尖的欧洲大学将接力的为台湾学生您的留学欧洲计划来指点迷津。那除了商管学校、资讯学院，更有著名的这个理工、设计、观光、医学科系等知名的校院都有加入。他们将提供你最新的教育制度、申请流程、奖学金以及毕业后在当地工作以及创业的这个最新资讯。你一定可以收集到你所需要的资讯以及学长姐的经验分享，来帮助你准备你的申请。那今晚留学欧洲部署未来邀请到的是英国知名艺术大学以及荷兰顶尖欧洲大学。那这一场是将由荷兰阿姆斯特丹大学 OnCampus Amsterdam。那今天校代会透过学校的资讯以及还有一些说明，将要强化你未来专业跟人脉。那校代会解说我们国际学生的留学以及职涯之路。好，那我们今天Amsterdam OnCampus Amsterdam 这个高质量的大学预科课程，以及在阿姆斯特丹生活以及求学，如何衔接进入世界100大阿姆斯特丹大学以及其他100大大学，校代都将要提供你课程的介绍、申请跟要求，以及还有程序、那学校生活跟费用等的资讯。还有大家待会不要忘记将你的问题打在我们 Q&A 的这个栏位当中，中英文都可以。那我们待会会在 Q&A 的时段里面来请校代来帮我们做回答。那现在由 Sally 为大家介绍 OnCampus Amsterdam 学校以及课程介绍、申请要求跟程序、学校生活跟费用等资讯。那在都是要 deploy your future， how to 部署你的未来，以及还有你该如何准备强化专业以及人脉。那学校也会介绍我们国际学生留学在阿姆斯特丹以及生活跟未来的职涯的方向。那各位听完以后，尽量将就你自己的状况来询问校代各样的问题，任何问题把你想问的都打在我们 Q&A 的栏位当中。Okay, let's welcome Sally. Okay, Sally, over to you. Let's hear about your OnCampus Amsterdam. Over to you.
Thank you very much, and hello everybody. I'm in Amsterdam this afternoon, in fact, sitting at the University of Amsterdam in my office, looking out onto what is unusually quite a nice, bright, sunny day. So I've got some slides I'm going to talk you through, and of course we're doing this in English, and I hope that's okay for all of you. I do have a colleague online as well, so if some of the questions need to be answered in your own language, that's fine as well. So I've got a few slides, some information, a little bit of information about living and studying in the Netherlands, and then some information about what you might expect from a research university. And then a little quick walk through what OnCampus itself offers. I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail, but we're going to just have a little look at some of the programs that we have on offer here at the OnCampus Centre in Amsterdam. And then some information about why you might choose UFA, why you might choose to come to the University of Amsterdam. And then if we have time, we might talk a little bit about what happens after you graduate. Okay, so here we go, my first slide, and this is very much about living and studying in the Netherlands. And there are 3 pairs of words, or two pairs of words, and then a couple of sentences on this slide. And I'm trying to sum up really what it is about living and studying in the Netherlands that is a bit different perhaps to what you might expect if you study in the UK or in the States or in Australia. The Netherlands is a very different country with its own culture. Just in this first 2 words are collaboration and communication. It's really important to make the point straight away that one of the key strengths of being a student in the Netherlands, of living in the Netherlands, is this idea of collaborating. So there is always a focus on making sure that people work together, not just as students, but in their working lives as well. So for students, very much, it's about working alongside your teammates and making a strong team, because the Dutch very strongly believe that you are much stronger in a group than you are individually. So this is about not necessarily thinking that you are the best at something, or not necessarily worrying that you don't have anything to offer. The idea is that everybody has something to offer, and if you all work together, then you'll get a much better response. And of course, this needs communication. So we say to our students all the time that you need to be able to communicate, and you need to be able to start to use language nice and confidently, so that you can communicate not just with your teammates, but also with the staff in the centre, but in the wider world as well. And this is a bit of a challenge for some of the students who come to us, but we work very hard on that right away from the very first day that you join the foundation program. The next two, self-motivation and self-reliance. The Netherlands is a place for students to come to, especially if you have a great deal of self-motivation and in return are very self-reliant. It's not a place where things are necessarily done for students. What you get, of course, at the end of your studies here, though, is you have that strength and you've built up those skills while you've been here. So we like to make sure that students who come to us grow as they go through the first year, and they grow and understand how they can be more motivated in themselves, but also how they can rely on themselves. And of course, what happens is that by the time you come out the other side of your education, you're someone who employers really want to talk to and really want to employ, because you have these skills and they've been built up during your studies. And the final two there about the Dutch themselves, they're very direct and they're very open. And this makes for an interesting and sometimes challenging atmosphere for some of the students who come from society where perhaps people aren't quite so direct or quite so open. But we, in the foundation program, we start from day one making sure that students understand that directness is a good thing. So if you ask a question, you're going to get a direct answer, but that also openness is really important, and that we don't, if we're asked a question, we're honest about the answer to that question, and we work together to make sure that everybody lives like this. So that's a little bit about living and studying in the Netherlands. Okay, so the next slide is some of the advice that we give to students when they start their program with us. If you look at the UFA side of this, it's very much what I've been saying in the previous slide, that teamwork is incredibly important, that speaking your mind is incredibly important. We ask the students to make sure they keep in touch with us as much as they possibly can. We like to make sure that the students ask their questions and talk to us very, very regularly. There's plenty of support available for the students as well. So whatever they're with us, but after they move to the university, of course, they can find those support networks, and those support networks are extremely important as well. I'll come on to the advice for new students from the foundation program in a little moment. Okay, so a little bit more detail about what you might expect from a research university. Okay, the first thing to say is that classes in a research university are mainly theoretical, and they really have very little practical content at all. So it really is very much to do with obtaining critical and analytical skills, and then using them to conduct research in a specific field. So that's what a research university is doing for the students. It's not practical, it's very much theoretical. There are, I would say, minimal contact hours. So students at the university might expect to only have 4 or 6 or sometimes 8 hours of contacts, so classes in a week. And the rest of the time, what they're doing is they are preparing, and this would normally include significant amounts of course material to study independently. So they're preparing in their own time, in their own way, and then using that preparation to then go and get the most out of those contact hours that they have in a week. Degrees at research universities in the Netherlands are normally 3 years long. So it normally take a student 3 years to complete an undergraduate degree, and it pretty much never has any kind of integrated internship. Students do go and do internships. It's a very normal thing to do here, but those internships will not be integrated into the degree program. They'll be additional to the degree program. And what you're preparing for is an academic, a research, or a professional role. Okay, so that's what you can expect from a research university here in the Netherlands. Okay, so I've got a couple of slides down the kind of programs that we are offering at the undergraduate foundation program. We have 2 pathways, really. I'm just going to open up all of these, save us a bit of time. There we go. Okay, so we have an economics and business pathway, and we have a social sciences pathway. The curricula themselves are fairly similar. The maths program is exactly the same. For the social sciences students, their economics is really rather more towards the social sciences than towards business economics, and they have an international relations program as well. Economics and business students are studying business behaviours and finance and economics alongside that big maths program. In both cases, there is also a skills module. We're teaching skills for business for the first time this year, but the social sciences students also have a skills for social sciences program that they follow as well. It's a 3-term program. You can start in September or in January, and we're looking for a minimum age of 17. So students can come to us when they are 17 years old. And there are normally up to 26 hours of classes, and this may include some element of self-study as well. Generally speaking, you're going to have 6 hours each of the 3 academic subjects, and then students will have between 2 and 9 hours of English in a week, depending on the level that they come into our program on, and then 2 to 4 hours of the skills program on top of that. Okay, so where can you go? What can you do with our undergraduate foundation program? We do have some guaranteed progression routes into the University of Amsterdam, and you can see those on your screen now. So economics and business economics, econometrics, actuarial science, and business analytics. Students can also choose to study business administration, but this is not a guaranteed pathway because students have to go through an external test run by the University of Amsterdam. I'll come on to that in a moment. And here we go. Let's open all those up as well. So the progression requirements for economics, econometrics, actuarial science, and business analytics, students have to get at least 60% on our program, and they need to have strong maths. So there are various different maths programs that students can take. They may be our own maths modules, it may be a university entrance maths test, and students have to get extremely high marks in those maths subjects to get into those maths heavy degree programs. But if they are good at maths, and if you do have a mathematical interest, these are programs that are really very popular these days, especially business analytics. It's a very new program, but they're not programs for students who do not like maths. Business administration is not a guaranteed pathway. They have 750 places on that degree program every year, and so we cannot promise to someone that they will be one of the 750 students who are chosen for that degree program. For English requirements, it's the same for all of the progression degrees. It is a 6.5 in IELTS or something equivalent to that. Of course, this is a fairly small list of courses that students might want to go and study on. There are other bachelor level study options in the Netherlands, in Europe and the UK, and students every year from our program do go and study at different places and study different things. But of course, we can make no promises because it's the University of Amsterdam that we have our most close relationship with. Okay, so that's for undergraduate students. The master's students, we have a master's qualifying program. This is a 1-year program. It's 3 terms, and it's a September start only. And we're looking for a minimum age of about 21 there. And again, it's about up to 26 hours per week, some of which will be self-study, some of which will be academic study. Now, this program, the Master's Qualifying Program, it's a very different program to what you might expect, because it is a combination of courses taught by the University of Amsterdam and courses taught by OnCampus Amsterdam. So students will study English and methodology and academic skills program with OnCampus Amsterdam, and the rest of their course will be made up of bachelor level programs taken at the university and examined by the university. So they really are getting a flying start to finding out exactly what it feels like to be a student at university. And the students who do this program do find that once they've struggled a little bit, because they do, it's quite a hard program to thrive on. But once they start thriving and getting used to how the university works, of course, it becomes very straightforward when they drop into their master's program, just continue with what they're doing. Those are the degrees we have progression to at the moment. That's business administration, economics, business economics, econometrics, data science, and accountancy and control. Okay, so what do we do other than the academic classroom-based things? Some of the things that we have on offer for our students: we have a group of student representatives who apply and are nominated for the roles every year, and those student representatives will have maybe 2 or 3 meetings per term together. They'll meet the staff of the office staff and some of the academic staff at least once per term and discuss with them the feedback they're getting from the rest of the student body. But they're also there to plan social events and to make sure that students themselves are mixing properly and thriving while they are with us. Student representatives also sometimes work with the marketing teams, for example, to put together videos and other information for students who might want to come and join us. Student reps also would be people that prospective students might meet while they're here. Agents might come and meet them as well, just to find out a little bit more about kind of the real life of a student on this program. We also have welfare representatives who do have a similar role, but they're looking at the welfare of the students. So they will work alongside our head of welfare to make sure that the students themselves always have someone they can talk to if they're needing some support with their own issues. Content creators is something fairly new, and these are students who work with marketing to provide some content for the marketing team. And some of you may have seen the TikTok videos that were recently put together by students across the whole of OnCampus. And finally, we have a mental health first aid program for all students. So it's a literacy program. We work with the students to make sure that we give them the tools and the language and the time to talk about mental health issues, and to make sure that they actually have the ability to talk about any problems that they are having, but also any problems that they see their fellow students having, because we do find that students who have the language and have the ability to talk about their issues actually make better students, because they are better able to study, they're better able to settle in, they're better able to sleep. They are generally more, they've got those tools, and with those tools they are going to get better marks in their programs. Okay, and then finally, guys, one final slide I've got to tell you about. It's just a little bit of information about why you might choose the University of Amsterdam, why you, or for yourself, or perhaps you're looking into this for someone else that you know. So it's a fairly straightforward and quite short list, really. I would say the first thing that people always say about the University of Amsterdam is a world top 60 university. So the ranking of this university is one of the very highest ranking universities who work with foundation programs in the world. You really are looking at a top class education if you come to this university. It's a modern university. The buildings that we work in are constantly being modernized. A lot of the buildings at the university now have their offices and are very modern universities, but it has got a rich history. There's been a university in Amsterdam since the 1600s. So they do say very clearly that you get all the benefits of being in a modern place, but actually they're drawing constantly on the history of the university. You don't get to be a top 60 university without having a world-class teaching faculty, and those world-class teaching faculty, they're conducting their own research. So if you do have a fascination with a particular area, it's quite likely that you're going to come across people who are actually published in that area. It's a truly international place, so there are around about 5,000 international students here at the moment, and staff, and they come from around about 100 different nationalities. So you really are going to meet people from all over the world. You're going to be sitting next to, studying with, living alongside people who are from all over the world. And then finally, and it's not a small point, I think it's a really important point, it's located in central Amsterdam, and Amsterdam is one of the most beautiful and student-friendly cities in the world. I know that London won Best Student City of the Year award this year. I don't think that's true though, because I've worked in London as well, and I happen to think that Amsterdam is a much better place. It's a relatively small city. It is about as safe as cities can get, Amsterdam, and students very quickly can get into a lifestyle where they cycle everywhere, where they can get from one side of the city to the other side in half an hour or 40 minutes. And because it's quite small and it's quite friendly, I don't think it's a particularly difficult place to start to feel at home in very quickly. Okay, I'm going to stop my presentation there because I'm aware of taking up too much time. I'm hoping that there are some questions though.
Yeah, thanks, Sally. That was quite informative. Thank you. And then, yeah, there are a couple of questions. I think the first one, I think your colleague is helping to answer that. The student is asking, does the UVA, University of Amsterdam, has the arts therapy or like physical therapies courses? So can the student study on OnCampus Amsterdam for any foundation course?
No, sorry, Ayan, do you want to? I'm happy to answer this. Unfortunately, we don't. That those kind of therapeutic courses are very much more would very much more come under a they're not a research university type of course. So they're going to come more under a applied science course, or even a kind of even more technical colleges than those, and we don't have any foundation programs that would lead to those types of degrees. But there is a very good, there are very good websites that show all the different degree programs and the different types of institution here. And I'm sure there will be courses available. And if they're taught in English, I'm pretty sure that students would be able to enter direct to those programs.
Right. Okay, thank you. So the next question is asking about the business school. I think that the student wants to ask, and so for the course, the business school, the course is taught in English. Are there any other maybe college they can choose?
We can't make any promises. So we have students who every year go from our foundation program to other universities in the Netherlands, and also further than that into the UK in places. So I can say that we've had lots of success. Students have gone to, Erasmus is very popular from here. It's a very good university. They have some slightly different programs to the ones they have at the University of Amsterdam. Students have gone to study in France, in Belgium, in Germany. They've gone to the UK, to the States. They've gone to all of these different places, and we certainly as a team here give students advice and support to make sure they make the best of their application. But I have to say, we can't make any promises. I can't promise that every year Erasmus will accept our students, but they do at the moment, certainly.
Okay. And next question, the student would like to know if for the IB score, what's the IB score to apply to the University of Amsterdam? Do you know?
You need to get the full diploma. Okay, so we can't accept anybody with a part diploma. It needs to be the full diploma, and then there are various different combination of higher level and standard level courses. So the best thing to do is just to send what you've got, and we'll have a look at it and make sure that it fits with what the university are looking for.
Great. Okay, and next question is asking for the business postgraduate business school, which is more important, GPA, the school scores, or the working experience? Which one is more important?
It's the GPA, I'm afraid. It's a research, you know, they're research degrees. It's a research university, so they're looking for, you know, you know, there are master's programs now that are very much more practical and very much more looking at equipping people with the skills they need to go straight into the workplace, and these are very popular and they're extremely good. But if you come to a research university, especially the University of Amsterdam, you're equipping yourself with research skills. Okay, so you're going into the library to research things rather than plowing off into the world to do things. And so I'm afraid it's GPAs that they're looking at, not necessarily work experience.
And next question is, what's the requirement for the business BA, the undergraduate business administration for first year students?
For passing from our program into?
For undergraduate business administration.
So it's for progressing from our program into the degree program?
Yeah,
coming to our program.
Or both. I
Okay,
guess you
I'll start with the progression bit, then I'll maybe ask Ian to explain the getting into our program bit. So business administration here is what's called a numerus fixus program, which means that they have a fixed number of seats, a fixed number of spaces on that program every year, and at the moment it's 750. So they can allow 750 students to start the first year of that bachelor program, which means that they have a selection process. Okay, and our students, along with any other students who apply, need to go through that selection process. Now, we take our students through that step by step, and we support the students in making the application correctly. But the students themselves have to sit an entrance exam, and the entrance exam consists of some maths, some economics, a little bit of I think it's marketing at the moment. Okay, so they do an exam. It takes place on a Saturday, normally at the end of February. And then from that exam, everybody who sat the exam gets a number, gets a ranking number. And if your ranking number is between 1 and 750, you've got a place on that program. Okay, and then all you need to do at that point is pass our course with a minimum of 60% overall, and nothing lower than 40%. There's no extra maths requirement there. It's just a pass with 60% and nothing lower than 40%. Okay, and a 6.5 in IELTS. So it's the normal entrance requirements. And so if you've got that place, you've got a guarantee, and you find out, and then there you are. Now, for students who are lower down the ranking than 750, of course, what happens then? It depends how many students don't take their place up. So this year they offered places, or eventually students who were in the ranking down to about 1100 were offered a place eventually. Okay, because quite a few students drop out because of course they're going to go and do other things. But we don't know. That's the thing that we can't guarantee. So of course we want all of our students to be ranked nice and high, so they get that offer straight away. So that's how you progress to business administration. Now, in terms of getting into our program, I'll hand over to Ian, who can do that bit.
Yeah, to get into the program, I think for the high school result that we're looking for is above 70% of your high school result, and also 6.0 IELTS, 5.5 IELTS that we are looking for to enter our foundation program. Yeah, that's from Taiwan. Yep.
So maybe to extend that question, when the students study on OnCampus Amsterdam, would the school or the department to help the student to apply to the University of Amsterdam?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. So we can't do it for you, and this is part of the needing to be the kind of student who can cope in the Netherlands. Okay, but we do take through all the steps. So this morning we had a planning meeting, and we'll talk to the students in small groups about where they should be applying and when they should be applying, and looking at other alternatives. That's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. It happens normally mid to late October. And then at the beginning or the end of November, we run what we call study link workshops, where all the students will create a study link account, log in, and then make an application to business administration. So we do that with the students. As far as possible, we make sure the students make that application and it all goes through while we are sitting watching them. Okay, so if the students want to take advantage of that help, they can do. And then as we come through the year, we will keep on talking to the students, we keep on checking grades, and all the time we're talking about alternatives and backup plans and everything else. So yeah, there's loads and loads of support.
Yeah. Can I add something? For a Taiwanese high school student, we're looking for 70% of the high school report that I was mentioning, but also that because through our foundation program, all the progression degree available at our foundation program through our foundation program are all business related. So students are expected to have very strong mathematics background, and also they like to solve the problem with mathematics. So after you apply for the foundation courses, we also will invite students to take an online mathematics exam, and the student will have to pass that exam in order to get the official offer from university or from OnCampus university, OnCampus Amsterdam for the foundation courses offer. Sorry about this. Yeah.
So is the mathematics exam online? Is it going to be very difficult?
Depends if you're good at maths or not. So I might say it was quite difficult, but some other person might not know. You know what, it's not. But it's really important that students take that exam seriously and take it themselves, because it's impossible for students to come here and thrive if they don't have good maths. Because we need the foundations to be there so that we can build everything else on top of those foundations. If the foundations aren't there, it starts the year it's very sad for the students who aren't very good at maths. They really don't cope very well.
Good point. So can you give us some information about the course fee?
For course fee, I think it's hold on.
So in euros, it's about 19,000 euros for the foundation program. Yes, no, it's about 19,000.
Yeah, 19,000.
It's about 19,000 exactly.
Yes, yes.
For the foundation program. Yeah.
Yes. And for the master qualifying program is about 18,000 as well. 18,000 euro. Yep.
It's the same. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's the same. Yep.
Great. Okay. And maybe later, and then Sally, you can give us some the link of the school website. So for students, they can go look into it for more details.
Of course.
Okay. And next question, student asks, should we take OMPT before or after the application? No idea what's OMPT. Is that a placement test or
yeah, that's a Dutch maths placement test. No, you don't need to do that. You do your maths, the maths placement tests you do, or the tests that you do them with us. So we have an agreement with the university that our maths level is equivalent to the one that they're looking for in those Dutch tests. So no, everything's done with OnCampus at that point. There's one extra maths test that students can take if they're looking for placement in one of the very maths heavy programs like econometrics, for example, and they haven't gained enough points from our program, but that's the exam set by the university. It's not a general access maths test.
Okay. Next question. If the student doesn't have the urban planning background or they didn't take any background before, so can they maybe take the pre-master course or the foundation course to the pathway course to connect to the University of Amsterdam?
For urban planning, we don't have a pathway into. We don't work with urban planning at the moment, I'm afraid. So no, that's not possible.
All right. So next question. If the student want to apply for the University of Amsterdam Communication Science postgraduate courses, what's the requirement for that? And they heard they have to do like the research, the data, or the quantum research experience, or they
Yeah.
have to study for the statistic, or they have to prepare for the
Yeah.
GRE score?
Okay, so again, we don't have an agreement with communication science for their master's programs. So the best advice I can give is to contact the admissions team of communication science directly, and they will tell you what you need to do. Okay, so very much the way it works here for master's programs and higher is that pretty much every course and every has a very bespoke list of requirements, and what they'll do is they'll look at what you have already and they'll tell you what you need to do to add to that to be admissible. So the best people to start with for something like communication science is the communication science admissions team themselves.
Great. Okay, next question. Can students apply for more than one program at a time?
Yes, for progression they can apply for 4 at a time. So Study Link allows you to apply for 4 degree programs at any one time.
Okay.
And we would always suggest to our students that they should always apply for business administration. They're probably going to have a slightly more maths heavy course as well, and they might apply for something at a different university as well to use those 4 spaces up.
Good point. And then what's the AP requirement for business program?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I'd have to have a look.
Yeah.
Have you got those there, Ian?
I'll have to look into the. I'll pass it on to you,
Okay.
Diane, later on.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or you can if we're still within time, and then we can just post it on the chat or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Next question. Can students use the math score in SAT to show their mathematics ability, or? They
can, but we still need to do our test, I'm afraid. We're happy to look, but we still have to do our test. It's a slightly different thing. We need students to be able to do the maths that we're setting them. Yeah.
So it's a phase they have to sit in for the.
Yep. There's no exceptions. No exceptions. I'm afraid, even if you can prove you're your best student of maths in your year in the whole of Taiwan, I'm afraid we still make you take our maths test.
Yeah. Okay. So if a student is a bachelor or of the business school, can he or she apply for the master data science for the master qualifying program? Yes.
Yes, we do work with data science. Yeah.
So for extension for that question, what should the student need to prepare for the application for this? Any particular extra document they need to prepare?
No, not extra documents, but for all the master's degree programs, they are looking very carefully at a student's transcript, and so within that transcript there have to be a lot of very data rich quantitative programs. Okay, so you can't try and get onto the pre-masters. What you've really got to do is you've got to have a background, the same background in your bachelor's degree as well.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Next question. So if the student want to apply for the university bachelor program through the foundation program, is it only the business courses or business school the student can apply?
Yeah, it really is out. We really are partnering with the Faculty of Economics and Business. So it's those degree programs that we're working with primarily.
Right.
Yeah.
And also the best and the top courses and in the Europe. Yeah.
Absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. The student is in the graduation of the more like the 5th year college graduation from Taiwan. I don't know whether you know that there's a 2 years and also 5 years graduation. It's more like the TVET college in Taiwan is a 5-year. Maybe Ian can apply for can answer for that. The student is a 5-year college graduation, and he or she got the associate degree, bachelor degree. Can he apply, or she can the student apply for the first year of the undergraduate?
I think it's the answer will be the same, because it's different. It's up to the department, because he has the student has different backgrounds, so he will have to come to the department directly to see and to get more detailed information if he's qualifying for applying for the first year. Yeah, because every department, every degree, they ask for the different criteria and qualification. So I think the best way and the safest way, yeah, is to come to the department. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think for this question, I would like to add, if you are only if you already have the 5-year college graduation, maybe to consider to get into the pathway courses, that will definitely help you in the future if you want to study for the business or the MBA or the international business. You know, you can have more solid foundation on this part. So I would definitely recommend you maybe to consider to take the OnCampus Amsterdam foundation or pathway courses if you are the 5-year college graduate. Yeah.
Absolutely agree with you there.
好，这一题我就先用中文稍微提一下，就是如果您今天是在台湾五专毕业的同学的话，我强烈的建议你们真的要考虑阿姆斯特丹这个商业的课程，这个所谓的 foundation 衔接课程，这个课程绝对对你的未来，不管是你的未来要再强调你的，或者是更要发展你的商业的领域的话，这个课程这个学校的这个衔接课程绝对对你非常非常的有帮助。Next one, can you share today's recording? Yes, I will share the recording later. Okay, so the student maybe has a little bit confusion about the University of Amsterdam. So they say there are only the business college in University of Amsterdam?
No, there are lots of different colleges within the university. There are lots of different faculties here, but we have an agreement with the Faculty of Economics and Business. Those are the only degree programs that I can make any promises about students being able to progress to.
我稍微用中文解释一下好了哈。阿姆斯特丹大学它是一个非常优秀的一个大学，但当然它除了商学院之外，还有文学院、理工院，这些通通有。只是说呢，我们 OnCampus Amsterdam 它跟阿姆斯特丹大学有一个特殊的合约，我们帮他做这个，我们帮他 run 这个大学部的 foundation 的这个 program 的课程，还有这个 pre-master 的课程，所以只有帮大学做商学院的这一个商学院课程的部分。那当然学校有其他的商学院，只是不是由其他的学院，只是不是由我们这边来进行的这样子而已。
Okay, next question is how many terms in one semester? Yeah, I think Sally has mentioned that. Yeah, in her presentation.
How many terms? So we run on a 3-term basis at the foundation program, and the university itself does 2 semesters. There we go. So the university semesters run from right at the beginning of September, or the end of August till February, and then February till July.
Yeah. And hold on, can I also add something else? Although that we have 3 terms, and we for pre-master program and also foundation program, we both have the start date in September. And but also for foundation, we also have another start date in January, which will enable students to progress into first year of university study in the next academic year, like this September, then January, progress into the same academic year's program in September.
Exactly. It's hard work that, but it is possible.
Yes,
that's we do offer that.
Yeah. But for pre-master, there is only one intake, which is September only. Yes. Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Okay. So my question maybe to Sally and Ian is, so would the student have maybe during the course, and then can they take maybe the courses like from different department, where like maybe the student is taking the business, but if he or she interested in some IT or something like information, so can the student maybe take the courses from different department?
When they're degree program students?
Maybe or the foundation, the pathway course.
Yeah, the pathway, no, because we have the courses we've got. So we don't offer other subjects than the ones we have. Occasionally students have gone and sat in on lectures or done a little bit of extra study, but it's not really something that people do. I mean, the economics and the degree programs our students are going to are very, very heavy. They're very hard work. And generally speaking, students might think that they really want to go off and sit through lectures and something different, but actually when the reality hits and the amount of reading they've got to do hits and all the work they've got to do hits, they haven't got time. So I'd say we are looking for fairly narrow, not narrow-minded, but fairly kind of focused individuals, really, who've got a real interest, but a real kind of focus. That's the word that I'm looking for, on the subject that they're studying.
Right.
Yeah.
So, anything to add, Ian?
Yeah, no, I agree with Sally, what Sally said. Yeah, before once they progress to undergraduate, like part of the UVA student, can they do? Sally, can they do, or can they select, or can they do something out of their major study? Can they do something else out of their major study?
In first year, it's really not. It's not normal. You've got to pass too many courses in first year. Students will diversify a bit after that if they're taking a bit more time. But you have to remember as well, this is a 3-year degree. If you're packing in all this stuff into 3 years, there is very little time. And unlike a lot of universities in the UK, I know for a fact, certainly, there isn't a hugely strong and there isn't a tough requirement to pass certain courses in first year. You just have to do, often they just do a selection of courses to try and get started in that kind of academic journey. Here they have to do this many credits and they have to pass this many credits and they have to pass these courses. And if you don't get those courses, you don't get through to second year. It's what's called binding study advice here. And students have to pass certain courses and have to get the requisite number of credits, or their visa is torn up. So as I say, students might have a nice idea that they think they can go and do lots of different things, but ultimately they need to pass their program. They need to pass those courses, and if they're going to finish their degree in the 3 years that it's designed to do, there isn't time to be kind of taking extra curricular, extra courses. Not really. Some students, if they want to spread it out a bit or extend it a bit, might take some bits and pieces, but really people tend to be kind of laser focused when they're studying here.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
One last question. Yeah. Okay. 2. So are there student accommodation so a student can apply?
Yeah, there is. So we have there's what we'd call a university managed accommodation, and then there's private student accommodation as well. So on campus we have 120 beds for students at a private accommodation provider called Our Domain. It's about 20 minutes by metro from the university itself. And then we also have, depending on the year, maybe 13, maybe 20, maybe 30 rooms at a place called the Student Hotel, which is very close to the campus. It's maybe 10 minutes by bicycle. And then we have our students are allowed to apply just alongside any other applicants for the university for university managed accommodation. And they go through the process of that with the university. And those buildings are all over the city, really. You can't necessarily choose exactly where you want to be. But we do have a lot of students in that kind of accommodation, yes. But we do help as much as we possibly can to find students, to make sure that students get somewhere to live when they get here.
Really?
Yeah, but Sally, accommodation is not a guarantee, right?
No, but if you apply early enough, it is. I mean, we have a finite number of rooms. Okay, so I can't say that I can promise everybody can have a room. Yeah. Accommodation is very scarce in Amsterdam, but if you apply early enough, you're going to get a room. I mean, it's been the most difficult accommodation situation in the Netherlands ever, this particular intake, because so many students traveled, but all of the on-campus students are now in a room safely. There you go. Which I think is good news. I think we've done quite well.
It is.
Yeah.
So we encourage students to apply early, really.
Apply early. Absolutely right.
Apply early. Yeah.
That's the best thing, to apply early, and also be realistic. If you get it, if you get a room offer, accept the offer. It might not be exactly what you're looking for, but it's better to have a room, a proper student room, than it is to be searching for an apartment or or
Yeah.
something when you get here.
Okay. Okay. One last two question. Do you know what's the ratio of Taiwanese graduate or working in Netherlands after graduation for past few years? Do you
I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't think it can't be so high, but I know that the Netherlands and Taiwan have an old and good relationship. So, and I'm doing my bit to try and make sure that more Taiwanese students come over to see us. But I don't know the ratio. I really don't.
But a student who graduates from Dutch University, they will be granted for 1 year work permit visa, right? Isn't it? Yeah,
that's right. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, and student is allowed to use it within 3 years. Student
That's
doesn't.
right.
Yeah, student doesn't have to use it right away after graduation. They can go away and come back as long as it's within 3 years time. It will still work for them. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, let's ask one last question. Where should the students send their transcript or other test score, like study link or do you?
No, so if a student's coming to OnCampus, as part of the application process, we go through various different stages, and the very final stage, when everything else is done and you're definitely coming, and we've seen your academic statements online, perhaps you send us emails, and they've been checked that way, and they've been checked by the university. The final stage of that process is that the university themselves need to see a notarized copy of those documents. Okay, and those notarized copies are either posted to the university, and we've done this year, students can come, they can bring them with them when they arrive. But all the instructions for those happen, they're sent to the students. Okay, as part of the visa process, as part of the arrival process, we send all the instructions to students about how that's all done.
Right. Okay, so tonight very thanks.
Hold on. There's one more question. Sorry, there's one more question. Only postgraduate student to get will be able to get a working
or internship visa.
No. Once you've graduated, so you have to graduate either from an undergraduate or a postgraduate degree. But no, anybody is able to take that offer once they've graduated.
Great. Okay, that's a great option. And then so I hope that will encourage lots of students, consider study Amsterdam. Amsterdam is definitely a very beautiful country and place. And then so it's
really
so worth to go. Yeah.
It really is. It really is.
So
and it's just it's such a high ranking university. It's one to really think about if you're thinking about a university that's going to stick out from the crowd as well, of course, because it's not that usual still to come to the Netherlands to study. And on your CV to put a Dutch university of such high quality, I think will really stick out to any future employer.
Good point. Good point.
我觉得等一下我用中文讲一下。我觉得刚刚 Sally 讲的那个字很形容的非常好哈 ，stick out 就是说你要再怎么样在人群里面真的很突出，你的履历再怎么样在一堆的申请者里面让人家一眼就被认得出来。所以这个就是说你为什么要选这么好的学校的原因，它毕竟在全球排名之前5所 ranked at 55 in the world， 所以这个是一个非常非常让你可以很华丽的转正的一个学习的机会。谢谢大家。
Okay. I guess that question is like the student asks, will there be an interview or something?
Sometimes. So we interview students who are going to come doing the social sciences pathway. And also we interview students where there might be a bit of a gap between school and applying to us. Or if the academics aren't too strong or the maths isn't too strong or so we do like to interview students because we need students to be the type of students who can thrive in this environment. Okay. And that's why we do those interviews, so that we make sure that the student is picking the right course for them.
So ensure that the interview is not compulsory, but when we see the need, then we will arrange the interview with the student.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So that's thanks Sally and also Ian for very informative and also very detailed information about OnCampus Amsterdam and also University of Amsterdam. I hope the student you get what you need to have and also what need to listen from Sally and Ian tonight. 好，那就谢谢各位今天晚上参加我们今天的这一场的讲座。那千万不要忘记，下周三10月12号晚间7点钟，我们2022 European Study Talk 留学欧洲部署未来要带给大家留学商管精选法国，然后带大家到法国来了解这个高等教育的商管学院。如果有对于法国想要去法国念商管学院的同学，下个礼拜不要忘记来参加我们的活动。还没有报名的，赶紧上我们的官网上面来报名。OK， 我们再一次非常感谢 Sally and Ian for tonight. That's thanks Sally and
Thank you very
Ian
much.
again.
Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you too.
Okay, bye bye.
Take care. Bye 哦，大家再见，大家晚安。